What is going on, everybody? Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Rocking this week, starting it off strong, right? Sorry if that sounded super incredibly loud for people online. Anytime I move this mic, it's super loud, but I do need to get it closer, so bear with me here. Good? Everyone good? Cool. All right, so let me make sure we're going live on all platforms real quick. And let's bring up the topic of the day. Guys, this is something I wanted to go ahead and bring some facts with today. And I did. This is stuff, all what we're going to be talking about today is going to be stuff that you can actually look up yourself, right? But I think there's a lot of people out there who are getting into the game of fitness. And especially for the people who are watching my kind of stuff, right? You watch my stuff and you understand that, like, we take things to a different level around here. This is more about being relentless than it is about being perfect. This is more about making sure that we get back on the fucking horse every time we fall off, right? And I think a lot of you guys are highly underestimating just how hard and how rare it is to be a fit person. Like, a lot of people, and not just to be a fit person, I'm going to bring up statistics today that a lot of you guys don't know, and you don't even realize this. And it's the lack of commitment to this. It's the lack of seriousness, right? Like, some of you don't take this serious. Some of you get into the gym and you're like, oh, I'm going to start this as a hobby. I've said this once, I'll say it again. Fitness is not a fucking hobby, okay? You need to understand that crucially, because if you don't, you will absolutely never get there. That is worse than saying trying to become a millionaire as a hobby. Like, you're just going to try and you're just going to accidentally do that, right? And quite literally, it is worse, because I do have statistics to prove that today, okay? Here's what you guys don't know. In the United States, which is where all of my audience is, right? For the most part. In the United States, approximately 10% of households become millionaires. A lot of you guys may underestimate that fact. It may sound like a lot more than you realize, but it is something that a lot of people don't know. 1 in 10 households in America are millionaires. 1 in 10, right? That doesn't mean there's not a lot of poverty out there in America as well. Don't get me wrong on that. But 1 in 10, that's 10% of Americans, okay? People who strive and achieve, and you can argue that, like, how much percentage of that are people who are born into it, whatever the case. There's still a significant portion of that. I would say even if you're lowballing like 3% of that, it's still going to be people who are like me and started from nothing and came up to it, right? So, that being said, not that I'm a millionaire, but I'm definitely not, I wouldn't say I'm broke anymore, right? That being said, definitely not. Made 10K last month. That being said, what you guys do not understand, and this part is crucial, is that only about 5% of people who start working towards a fitness goal achieve that fitness goal and keep that fitness goal. Only about 5% of people. And we're talking about getting abs and getting shredded and getting to that savage mode. That's only about 0.5% of people, okay? The thing I am actively training my people towards is a very small percentage of the population. You guys need to understand that it is harder to get ripped. It is harder to get even just fit in America than it is to become a millionaire, statistically speaking. It's harder. It's quite literally, in order, if 1 in 10 households in America reach millionaire status, okay, and this is not just stuff I'm throwing around here, guys. These are known facts. These are facts, okay? These are statistical facts, okay? People, I'll go ahead and give you this statistic too. Only about 1% to 2% of people get visibly shredded abs. I don't know if you guys see this. I'll pop this up a little bit more on the TikTok. But in order to achieve what you guys are seeing in this picture of mine, people on Facebook, you're not going to see this. You have to look on the YouTube version of this to see the picture of it. But it's just a picture you guys have all seen before, me with abs, right? And that's the thing, is like, guys, I've been shredded abs before. I'm not trying to go back to that. Like, I've had this discussion on my blogs all the time. But that's why you're not ever going to see me. You may see me get shredded again, but you're not going to see me get like I was. Just mainly because under 200 pounds doesn't feel good for me. So we're going to keep it around like 210, probably 205 at the lowest. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get shredded. I currently have abs, by the way. Like, it's just not shredded. They're not like as defined as like what you're going to see in this picture right now. But that being said, even getting that, you guys are underestimating, because I'll have people hit me up and be like, dude, your physique looks attainable. Bro, fucking good luck. 1% of the population reaches that. Quite literally. Okay, now it doesn't mean it's not obtainable. It absolutely is. But you need to understand that this is not something you're just going to stumble across, Jack. Good luck. Good luck. It took years. It took years. And again, statistically speaking, it's harder to do that than it is to become a millionaire. You guys need, and I'm saying this not to be like, oh yeah, look at my results. I'm saying this because you need to understand how serious you need to take this shit. Okay, this is not a walk in the park. Some of you guys are putting stuff off. Like, again, imagine you're a guy running a business and you're trying to become a millionaire, right? Think about the amount of discipline that's going to take. What I am telling you right now is that it takes more discipline to even just get fitness goals. Again, guys, only 5% of people hit their fitness goals and keep their fitness goals. Okay? 5% of people, 10% of people in America become millionaires. It is, by every definition, twice as difficult to reach your fitness goals. I'm not talking about getting shredded and ripped. I'm talking about reaching your specific fitness goals. 5%. 5% of the human population. You guys are not taking this serious enough. You're not treating this as serious as, you're not even treating this even half as serious as someone who's running their business. And some of you guys may even hear me say, oh, I got to take this more serious than running my business. Yes. Yes, you do. Otherwise, you will sacrifice your health for that business. And listen, if you want to do that, fine. I'm not going to argue with you on that. It's your life. But that being said, don't bitch and moan to me because you're fucking having heart palpitations at night and you can't go to sleep. Okay? Because you fucking have sleep apnea because you're overweight. Okay? And that is a thing. That is not just me. That's not me being mean. That is a realistic thing. That is real. That is a real thing that happens when you don't take care of this. Okay? This is why you guys have got to be so fucking adamant and serious about, like, guys, this is why we call it the Savage Standard. This is why my training is called the Savage Standard. Or my systems. And I call it systems because it's not just training. It's not like, because people do think, if I call it training, people think it's just like a workout program. That is not what this is. Any one of my clients can speak up right now and tell you that is not what this is. Okay? These are, by every sense of the word, systems I have set in place that if you do the systems and you stick to the systems, you will see results. I can guarantee it, or your money back. Straight up. That is something I guarantee to my people, that if you stick to the systems exactly the way I tell you to stick to these systems, and you don't see the results you want to see, not only will I give you your money back, I'll give you 25 extra bucks so you can go buy a pizza. Straight up. They work. I know they work. I've been doing this too long. Okay? But that being said, you got to understand, the reason I can give an offer like that is simply because I know how hard it is. Only 5% of people are going to do that. Literally. That's why I can say that. That's why I can say that with only 5% of people are going to do that. And if those 5% of people do that, they're already going to get exactly what they're like paying for. You guys see what I'm saying here? Like, this is something you got to take it so fucking serious. You got to take it so fucking serious or you're not going to make it. It's not going to happen. It won't. You will end up backwards. And everyone, listen, I get it. I get the mindset of being like, oh, I just want to take a break. But guys, listen, this is your life, okay? I'm sure a lot of parents out there want to take a break too, but you don't get that. You don't. Because they're your kids. And a lot of you guys aren't taking that kind of serious level to your health. And you're wondering why you got all these issues going on. And I'm telling you right now, that's why. That's why the issues are persisting. Is mainly because you are not taking this with the degree of seriousness that it takes. This is why we call my systems the Savage Standard. There is a standard. That is what you have to uphold that. Right? Literally yesterday, I did a live stream for my clients on a diet standards for my systems so they completely understand, hey, whoops. I'm sure that hurt a lot of people's ears. I apologize. Smack that mic. But that is the reality of the situation, guys. And this is a thing, like, if we're talking about are millionaires, you know, what percentage of millionaires are actually in this category too? People who are actually relatively fit and keep themselves fit. Listen, the percentage of people that are going to be like that are 0.1% of millionaires who are fit. Okay? Now they're out there. I think that is a good goal to achieve for, right? To have something that kind of ideal, right? But at the same time, guys, like, there's so many of you guys out there, like, having that in your idea, right? You have the idea of being a really fit person, Like, let's say just like a Joe Rogan type person, right? Someone who is definitely a millionaire, someone who's very successful, someone who helps a lot of people get information and entertains a lot of people, and someone who is pretty damn ripped, okay? Now, to get to that kind of level, right? To get to that kind of like physique, you have no idea what level of dedication that is going to take. You have absolutely no freaking, you have to take it so serious, more serious than anything else, guys. Because that's the thing. No one wants to be a millionaire and be fat. I can't think, there might be some of you guys out there. I don't resonate with you. My content is not for you, okay? Because I would never, ever, ever want to be that person. That means I am sacrificing a crucial aspect of life that I'm not willing to sacrifice for money, ever, right? So, like, don't resonate with you. You guys get out of here, okay? But, like, for the people who are like me, for the people who want to be successful and they want to have their health and they want to help people, which takes both of those, by the way, you have got to understand that this takes a very critical level of seriousness. This takes a very disciplined person. And I'm not someone who's all about like perfection. You know, the savage way. The savage way is about getting back on the horse no matter what. Not about being perfect, right? But that being said, we cannot put this at a back part of our mind. This has to be a priority. This has to be a super big thing you're thinking about all the time. This has to come in front of fun. This has to come in front of relaxation and comfort. It has to, or you are not going to make it. It's not going to happen. You are going to continue to have health problems. You're going to continue. And here's the reality, guys. Like, it honestly, the disciplines align really well together. For you guys out there who are wanting to be successful, for you guys out there who are wanting to have a fit body, these go hand in hand, okay? They do go hand in hand. That doesn't mean it's hard to do. It's not hard to do. It is extremely hard to do. That's why you got to take it serious. That's why it's got to be a priority. That's why it's got to be a standard in your life, right? Like, it's like, for example, I'm trying to think of some standards you guys, of course, the one I like to use all the time, brushing your teeth. A lot of you guys refuse to start, like, go out of your house, start your day without brushing your teeth, right? Because you've been conditioned to understand that if I don't do that, there's probably going to be a point in my life where my teeth fall out of my head, okay? It's a standard you have designed since you were a little kid. Probably your parents made you do all this kind of stuff, made you brush your teeth. I literally remember one of my cousins, who's actually one of my clients right now, literally, I didn't want to brush my teeth when I was a kid. She grabbed my ass and she literally forced me to brush my teeth. She overpowered me to brush my teeth, right? And that's like something that's ingrained in me now, right? And so, like, that is something that a lot of us aren't like realizing here is like, it's not like it takes a super, like, thinking super critically about it all the time. It means that we have to get through that rough point and making this habit. Because if you guys remember the stuff I talked about last time, habit forming stuff is what's going to stick around for a lifetime. We have to start working on making sure that it's a habit and stay to the standards, stick to the standard. And a lot of you guys don't have standards on this, right? Like, this is why it's important. A lot of you guys don't want to have rules. You have to have rules. You don't get to go out of this without having rules. You don't see success without having rules, period. It's not going to happen, okay? So, what are the rules we need to follow to make sure we get the results we need? For my clients yesterday, I made it very simple as far as diet. What are the diet rules? Some of them were very basic, right? Like, make sure you track your calories every day. That doesn't require perfection. Make sure you have a mindset of trying to hit a high protein intake every day. Try and hit your protein goals. Try to stay within your calorie goals. That doesn't require perfection, but it does require working on it, right? Every single day, right? Make sure we're hitting our water intake goals, right? Like, all of these are basic stuff. It's not stuff that's like super crazy, but a lot of you guys don't have an exact answer for that every time. A lot of you guys have no idea what your protein goal or calorie goal is. A lot of you guys aren't tracking calories. A lot of you guys aren't tracking your water intake. You're drinking willy-nilly, and some of you guys aren't drinking any water at all, quite frankly, right? So, like, this is what I'm talking about. You don't have standards set in place. And so now you're willing to do whatever, and you have no thing to tell you when you're messing up and not going the direction you want to go. Right? Like, guys, it's not like I can walk out. It's not like I can stand up and say, hey, I want to go to Florida and just start walking outside in any direction. No, I've got to go a very specific way. Okay? That is how this is. Right? That's why I need a map to tell me what the standards are to help me get there. And a lot of you guys aren't realizing that the rules you set in place for yourself when it comes to fitness, the disciplines that are in place, are not designed to hold you down and make you feel like you'd like do this or else, right? Like, do this, or like you're just not ever like do this perfectly, or else you're never gonna see it. No, it means be relentless on trying to uphold this standard and see what the fuck happens. And I promise you, you will progress forward every single fucking time. But you guys have got to understand just how serious and how hard this is. Remember, it is twice as hard to keep your, it is twice as hard than it is to become a millionaire. To just to hit your fitness goals and keep them. It is twice as hard to hit your fitness goals and keep them for a lifetime than it is to become a millionaire. Understand that. Understand the difficulty. Start taking this extremely fucking serious. That's all I've got for you guys today. We'll be covering some more aspects like this later this week on Thursday. So I'll see you guys then.